Welcome to some super easy concepts within the LGBT plus community. There are so many words, vocabulary, and definitions floating around in the media, and it can be so hard to dissect what it all means. This brief video will introduce you to some basic concepts. Alright, there's a lot to get through. First, the LGBTQ plus acronym. Let's break that down. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, and ally. One of the first key traits is biological sex, which is the physical anatomy of which you were born. The next one is gender identity, which is the personal feeling and conceptualization of one's own gender on the spectrum within male or female. Sexual orientation is the gender to which a person is attracted to, either romantically or sexually, in relation to their own. Gender expression is how a person chooses to outwardly show their gender identity. In simple terms, biological sex is what you have, gender identity is what you feel, sexual orientation is who you love, and gender expression is how you look and act. Okay, we just broke down the acronym and we talked about the 4 traits. Now let's put them together. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and asexual refer to sexual orientation. Intersex refers to differences in biological sex, which can also be related to transgender, and both of those are related to gender identity. Queer is an umbrella term used by most of the community to refer to anyone who identifies as part of the community. Questioning refers to people who are, you guessed it, still questioning their sexuality or gender. Allies are non-queer people who support and love the queer community.
One idea to take a look at is a spectrum, which is where all 4 of the before-mentioned traits are. Let's start by talking about some terms relating to gender identity. First, biological sex. The extremes on this spectrum are biological male and female. These are determined mainly by hormones and organs. Intersex is the term used to describe people whose combination of hormones, internal sex organs, and genitals do not fit typical notions of male or female bodies. Gender, another spectrum, is the scale between boy and girl. Boys may use masculine pronouns such as he, him, his, and feel masculine. Girls use she, her pronouns and feel feminine. Anyone who identifies outside the gender binary falls under the umbrella term of genderqueer. Halfway between the extremes is gender neutral. This means someone who identifies as neither a man nor a woman. They often choose neutral pronouns such as they, them, their, or a variation of the invented pronouns sie, zer, they. A bigender person lives their lives at both extremes at different times, living both as a man and as a woman. With both gender-fluid and bigender people, it is important to listen and respect the appropriate pronoun for the situation. Agender people don't identify with any gender and often use gender-neutral pronouns. So, we already established that gender identity is that gender you feel inside. When your internal gender identity matches your born biological sex, that's called cisgender. If they don't match, it is called transgender. Often, transgender people will choose to transition using hormone replacement therapy and various surgeries to change their bodies to match their identity. Transgender people experience gender dysphoria, or the uncomfortable feeling that their mind and body don't match. Gender expression is how people choose to show their gender to the outside world. This refers to the many ways which we manifest masculinity or femininity. It is usually an extension of gender identity. Each of us expresses a particular gender every day. The clothes we wear, how we style our hair. Drag kings and queens are people who explore gender as an art form. Their cross-dressing is a form of gender expression, but you cannot assume anything about their gender identity or sexual orientation just based on how they choose to dress. Speaking of sexual orientation, that is our last spectrum, and it refers to whom and who we are attracted to. On one end, we have heterosexual, or attraction to somebody of the opposite gender. On the other end, there is homosexual, or attraction to the same gender. In between is bisexual, attraction to both genders. Pansexuality is attraction to all genders, including those that lay outside the binary. Someone who is asexual is not attracted to any gender. Attraction can be broken down to even further, into romantic and sexual. One is an emotional attraction, the other is physical. There are several other more prefixes, such as demi, scolio, and poly, to name a few. Some of these identities can be confusing and hard to understand if you've never been exposed to them before. But if a person finds himself in a way that is good to you and even important, to respectfully ask them what their identity means to them. The biggest message you should take away from this video is the importance of letting someone define their own gender and sexuality. Respect their pronouns, respect their chosen name, respect their appearance, and respect who they choose to be partners with. I am a lesbian, cisgender female. Who are you?